Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Friday. Hope you are doing amazing. You made it through the week. For those that were hanging on for dear life, congratulations. I'm cutting the cards, but actually I realized that it's just habit because today, as promised, I am going to do the new moon message in Aquarius. Now, as always, I'm going to start with the message and then move into the reading. So you can find the timestamps below in the description box or tagged in the comments, okay? So, without further ado, this is the new moon in Aquarius, and that is today, February 9th, 2024, and it's happening at around about 5:58 p.m. Eastern Time. So I waited to do it today because I knew it was happening later, and I just wasn't quite in the mood yesterday, as I usually like to do it a day before. I just wasn't in the mood yesterday, but here we are with it all now, so receive it as you will. So this moon is giving 11th house energy, which is of friendships, hopes, and wishes. It signifies our social networks, associations, and our capacity for fulfilling our own dreams. With Uranus, the planet of change and revolution, all up in the mix, plot twists and surprise occurrences are highly likely. Expect the unexpected is an understatement. With the new moon squaring Uranus, you may find yourself at the gateway of an astounding new adventure. Nothing short of galactic, or practically speaking, the matter of what your dreams are made of. However, presented in a way, shape, or form that you may not have anticipated altogether. In the words of the Aquarian mantra, I know, let this be a personal affirmation statement. You know who you get to be, what you want to do, and have to live a fulfilling life. Uranus direct in Taurus is grounding the self-awareness and assuredness of that truth, plus the assertion to transform the ideal into real life. In other words, your wishes are coming true. This is it. Don't get scared now. In the illustrious words of Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, now is not the time to be captivated or constricted by conventionality. Who you be, do, and have may not match the status quo. That's okay. Be, do, and have it anyway. The ingenuity of the Aquarian vibes that we are all invited to channel is that you can be a part of the collective and not completely consumed by it. You can contribute to the creative consciousness of all with your own unique expression and eminence of light. It's giving the star card vibes, and by it, I mean you. The wonder of the cosmos is the fact that there are an innumerable amount of stars in the sky, yet there could never be too many. As above, so below. There's enough space to shine independently and as a sparkle in a collective constellation. This new moon transit may polish your solo act as it also lights the track of connection to and with your co-stars, i.e. Soul Tribe. Let's not forget that Pluto is also transiting in Aquarius now, adding another layer of transformation to already new beginnings. Though on a lighter note, literally and figuratively, a grand air trine, as a matter of fact, which is also happening, can support objective perspectives and decisions on the covenants, i.e. relationships and contracts that will transport you to your happy place. Equally essential, consider if you'd also care for those elements to stay. And that part is key. As Pluto has now entered Aquarius, it's going to retrograde in May for a short time and then back into Aquarius again from Capricorn. But for the most part, you can more or less consider that what you're setting in place now is like let's say, the framework or the outline for the storyline of your life over the next 20 years or so throughout the rest of this transit. So it's very important, not just how you revere yourself as the main character in your storyline, but also who you select to co-star or to be supporting characters and supporting roles throughout that transition. So it may seem trivial, the decisions that we're making at these different moon cycles and transits, but they all matter first and foremost. And this one probably being one of the more important ones, perhaps of even the rest of this year, because of how it is a setup opportunity. So we took some time last transit in the Leo full moon to just kind of really engage those parts of our identity and our surroundings that may not have been so favorable to our star performance as a lead character, right? And now is the opportunity in this new moon energy to put those plays into action, to literally take an affirmative stand on who, what, and where. Well, who and what gets to be a part of your life, and perhaps where you get to be as the plot of your life story plays out. So, no pressure, because ultimately, as the mantra goes for Aquarius, you know. And what you don't think consciously, the soul knows. So if you're surrendered to the connection between the heart, the mind, and the heart at this time, and living in your holistic form, which is what we've been cultivating all along, then you'll almost be moving in the flow with that reality more than you'll have to necessarily, enact any type of control over it, or to steer it in one way direction aggressively. You should already be moving in the flow of what comes naturally to you. Of course, being open, particularly through this transit, for plot twists, surprise occurrences, maybe even surprise endings, and even surprise beginnings. But all the while just being fluid with the frequency of life that is ultimately carrying you to what your heart's desires are calling into reality. All right, so that's it for the moon message. I hope that you receive something from it. And now we're going to move on. This is the new moon in Aquarius reading. Hear ye it. All right, I'm gonna cut the cards again. And I'm not gonna lie, like, me channeling that message today was a bit choppy, and even delivering it, I'm not quite sure why. I feel like it's energetic though, and it has to do with the frequency at play. But again, I don't really know why. It's something strange about it. How it came through. Usually the message transmits so much more fluidly to me and through me than it actually did this time around. But maybe that's that Uranus energy peeking its head, because really just throwing a little wrench in the plans, or just a little bit of unexpected mark on the journey. I don't know. Maybe I'm embodying it in that way. But anyway, here we go. Let's see what we got for today. Oh, King of Pentacles. And I'm also sweating. Like, I'm just telling you all my business because I feel like it connects. But I'm like sweating right now, which makes no sense because I'm not nervous. So I don't know why I'm sweating. But anyway, King of Pentacles, Kingpin vibes, high value man on the board, committed, loyal, dedicated, dependable, provider. Yeah, very loyal partnership for the most part is what you can depend on with the King of Pentacles. Somebody that is definitely a master of his own material affairs, particularly of his energetic resources, whether that be money, time, energy, attention, investments, engagements, relationships, everything tangible. Definitely Taurus vibes. So there's that energy there with Uranus being direct in Taurus right now. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and with that energy being the element that is supporting us in the way of making our ambitions or our dreams tangible. That could be what that represents. The King of Pentacles definitely knows how to turn matters of the mind into material, into something that you can measure, not just a big idea or, an ambition or an inspiration, but maybe that being the start and the spark, now having the ingenuity to actually make it happen, to really bring it to life, whether it be through practical ways of planning, of working, of connecting with other energies, as a collaboration, because this could also be Capricorn vibes to some extent as well too, but more Taurus, but any of the earth signs that just know how to make things make sense. Literally make it matter. That could be the energy here today. Somebody that knows how to turn a dollar, to what's the saying? To make a dollar out of 15 cents. Yeah, for sure. Now, on the mystical aspect of things, I'm feeling drawn to say this because I often see, pentacles are also gifts or certain talents or abilities. That energy cannot be missed with Aquarius being the prominent sign that we are in transit with this at this time. Kind of out of this world vibes, futuristic, otherworldly perhaps, definitely by way of the human experience though, because humanity is very much so the scope of the Aquarius sign. But it also is like humanity expressed in a futuristic way, like the evolution and even revolution of the human experience. So this could be someone that's a master of their extra special gifts in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the mystical of their mastery is in fact turning things into matter. Everybody doesn't have that, or I should say that doesn't come easily for everyone, especially not every element, obviously, or every element would be earth, So everybody has their particular strength, but in this regard, whether it be mystically or materially, the King of Pentacles knows how to bring things to life. Okay, so let's see where this is going today. All right. Okay, we got the Queen of Cups. All right, all right, all right. Let's see where that's going. What's the Queen of Cups about here? Maybe that's I'm tempted to put the Queen of Cups up top. Maybe I was gonna say maybe that's why I'm sweating. It's like, ooh, high value man in the room, you know? It's like and the Queen of Cups is definitely can be the object of affection. One of the most loving queens in the court, for sure. All right, so we got some type of forward movement or onward movement. I always like to distinguish that. Someone's moving on. What's the Queen of Cups moving on to? Interesting. Independence? Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups. Emotionally intelligent, perhaps even intuitive on her best days, who or it's under the King of Pentacles, and as I said, I almost put, I don't know, like I'm kind of stuck on, is that the King of Pentacles moving toward, maybe the Queen of Cups is single, and that this is a move toward the Queen of Cups as a potential partner at the Nine of Cups. I mean, the Nine of Pentacles. I mean, she's definitely marriage material, for sure. Independent, single, secure in her own establishment, whatever that may be. Or this could be the Queen of Cups moving on in the King of Pentacles energy as all of those things: stable, secure, independent, and established. And that's the reason for this expression of self, because of the mastery. Because King of Pentacles, as we know, definitely is masculine, for sure, but it could be like a transitional or transformational expression here that's happening. Creating the dreams, remember, I said, okay, so this is making sense now. This is the transportation of those dreams, those visions, those ideals, wishes, perhaps even. As I said, different elements have different strengths, right? The Queen of Cups is definitely a master of emotions and intuition and foresight in an intuitive way. But here is the activity pressing forward into something very tangible with the Nine of Pentacles. I mean, it's only one shy of the 10, which is like total fulfillment. And usually, well, I can't say that, but for the most part, it can be implied that the one shy of the 10 would be partnership with such, say, as the King of Pentacles, somebody that would actually match that vibe. And perhaps the only reason why she's not coming up as a queen is because the purest essence of her is the cups. And the transformation has occurred even through her organism to almost become this independent, more practical expression of herself, to be, as this is like the best position that you really want to be in, to be available for partnership from a feminine aspect. You know, even with the Queen of Cups, with the queens and the kings, and almost, I mean, they don't all have to be married, of course, but it almost implies that there's some attachment, at least to responsibility, if nothing else. But the Nine of Pentacles is really kind of single and ready to mingle, but still, what I like about the Nine of Pentacles, which I've discovered most recently, is like the difference between I don't need nobody versus I embody all that I need. There's a stark difference between the two, and the Nine of Pentacles airs on the latter of that expression. She knows that she's the total package, whether there is a coupling or not, whether there is a partnership or not. And this could even be professionally, given we're talking about pentacles. It's like maybe even an entrepreneur that has already had the foresight for a fortified success, and now is more or less ripe for a partnership that would just expand that or magnify it. It doesn't make it anything less by itself, but certainly it can, and this definitely is in the vein of the moon message, if you caught what I was saying at all. Because it's like you can shine all on your own and do well and be successful, but there may also be opportunities for you to advance that success in ideal partnerships. But the key is ideal. That's like the operative word here as to why there's so much attention that gets to be focused on who and what is working with you or against you, because that could make all the difference as to how you progress or continue on this trek of progress and prosperity. Ultimately, it's like you could do bad all by yourself, you know, you could, but you could also be a force in connection with someone else. So, all right, I'm gonna take that and see where that leads us. Yeah, that's me, like, I think so. I think that's what we're talking about here. Okay, so we got the Two of Pentacles, like managing something, some ideal. Or some energy. Maybe back to that feeling of being nervous, and then this coming up under the Queen of Cups. That's what it's given. Maybe managing expectations or ambitions, and staying open, as I feel the Nine of Pentacles is. It's like she's a one-woman show, but yet there still is a call for openness to how you get to exchange energies if it, you know, if the ideal opportunity presents itself. And here's that management piece, and sometimes it does incite some nerves or maybe eagerness or anxiety, because when you're kind of used to operating on your own accord. And this could be, again, professionally, personally, intimately, a whole host of things that this could apply to. But when you're comfortable operating in a certain way and there is a call for readjustment, it can be anxiety inducing. Maybe that's what I'm channeling through my body. It's like, oh boy, something's coming, a new beginning, new partnerships, new opportunities, like maybe considering your readiness or potential to manage these invitations, these opportunities properly, masterfully at that. Like, not just manage as in the Two of Cups, because it almost gives the sense of fumbling, like juggling at best, but really to allow, as I said in the message, that fluidity to be organic, knowing that okay, so the Queen of Cups, who is intuitive and discerning, what's in alignment based on how even it feels, as primitive as it may sound. That's what the built-in, and that's why the foundation of the Queen of Cups is essential, to have a pure spirit, to be primed for proper discernment, for more tangible opportunities and invitations. Because the other way around is kind of like backwards, to be, not entirely, but it's been important for us to cultivate our emotional intuition and intelligence so that our decision making and manifestation power could be more efficient, I would say. Because otherwise you could see what looks like a good opportunity and even have the receipts for why it could be so, and forge ahead into that in ways that in previous experiences, many of us have been conditioned in some ways to suppress our emotional intelligence or have been disconnected from it altogether, and therefore have kind of gotten ourselves into unfavorable situations and perhaps even undesirable outcomes, which ultimately has led many of us to take this position of independence and be very comfortable there in the first place, because you can count on you can bet on you. But when you have to start kind of co-creating with others is when it's like, whoa, But I'm here, I believe, to self-assure that even through what may be and not be able to be anticipated or planned for, there's already a built-in, as I said, you embody all that you need. There's already a built-in processor within you to know when something is in alignment and working with the vision of your own independent purpose and how that fits into the whole. And did I say what it is in alignment or when it's not? But that's ultimately what I'm getting to as the horns are blaring. You know how to decide. It's really not that hard. I think this is like the foresight, the contemplation, like seeing, considering the possibilities that would make you question whether you are ready to assume that level of authority and mastery in what you're creating for yourself. And the answer is yes. That's what I think I'm trying to get to here. Is like, yes, you are ready. You are equipped. You are qualified. You've been tried, tested, and triumphed at this point in time. I always say this word, even though I don't even think it's a real word, but tangibleized You know, like you have something to show for your energetic force. It's not just an ideal. It's something that has materialized. And it may even be in ways that are hard to measure, or maybe for others to measure from the outside looking in. But you, with the nine of Pentacles, is someone that's not really too caught up, as a good Aquarius isn't, right, on what anybody else has to think anyway. You know, it's more so a self-assuredness and an awareness that is probably going to be much different than the status quo anyway, so it should almost be expected that it may not be understood, you know. Also, as I spoke about, but it is very much so asserted though with the Nine of Pentacles. Like, she knows the value of her worth. It doesn't really matter how anyone else tags that price or her price. Oh, and here we go. Look at this. Aquarius out on the board with the star card. I said it's giving star card, and here it is. Like, do you have the it factor? The Magician says, yes, you do. You don't even have to think about it anymore, because the star is the essence of you in your purest form. It's not in any reflection of anything else or anybody else. Only the light of source shines through the star. And that's illuminated in very unique ways, as we know, as above, so below. So there is no point of comparison. And the Magician energy is here again, doubling down on that manifestation capability for you to take whatever it is that you do naturally and making it something of material value, something that matters, that is matter, that makes a difference to you first and foremost. But given that we're talking Aquarius, that usually also has some collective or universal impact as well. Usually. Aquarians can toe that tough line between independence and community quite well. They're usually the tastemakers that push evolution forward because they're not afraid to do what they feel or live how they're called, live in the design that they feel divine to do so. Whereas many need that motivation, that inspiration to feel obliged to do the same for themselves because of how, we're conditioned in creation in this realm anyway. So it takes those flickers of light to inspire the collective to be their own flicker. And you can do anything with that mentality. And with the Magician card, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's not a matter of, I can't do this until I have that. It's like, no, you do whatever you can with whatever you have, and know that the little spark that you have to add to it makes up the difference. And it's also encouraging to know that you have this Magician energy in your favor for the moments that may come up unexpectedly, for new beginnings or new advancements, new connections, new opportunities, where you have the power to transmute energy into any productive state. So you don't have to be like sweating like me. There's no need to be nervous. That's funny. Yeah, Justice card. Wow. Star, Magician, Justice. These are some life-changing cards that are coming up back to back here. Something is transforming in your life on account of it just being time. I don't know why I'm hearing time, but it's like it feels fair that it should be happening. It's like it's for the purpose of creative balance in the world. Then now is the time for you to shine more than ever before, because it's like it sets it. First of all, it's the culmination of a sequence of events and occurrences, but it also sets off a new sequence, if that makes sense. That's what I'm getting with this Justice card. Like it brings justice, or some, how can I say this? Justice is like, it's not giving me what I need. It's the catalyst, I guess, in what I was just saying to some degree, like you are the catalyst for the harmony and balance that others are privy to, some of which don't even realize it or aren't aware of it, or may, as I said, be intimidated by or even afraid of it. Like you somehow balance the scales in the universe. Ooh. You balance the universal scales. And you don't, and that's why the nervousness, the sweating, because it's like, who, me? Like, that's the energy. Or why I keep saying, like, yes, you, like, yeah, yes, your you, absolutely, yep. Raise your hand if you're sure, literally right now. Because it's quite unbelievable that you would be such an integral part of the whole, but that's Aquarius energy, right? As I said in the message, it's like you can never have too many stars. There can never be too many. Hell, you notice when you can't see any at all, then it's really apparent how important the stars are, especially in a dark atmosphere, right? Catch that in the spirit. And so, yes, your flicker makes all the difference. Absolutely. It sets off a chain of events for others and for more beyond, and even beyond that. Until hopefully the ideal is that the entire universe is illuminated, as above, so below. Now it's giving supernova. Wow. This is, I feel some oil on this that I'm not even touching on. I know it, I feel it. Because it's remember I was saying, like, it was such a struggle to get through the message today. And even this is like, am I saying this right? Yeah, it's like you are creating the crossover effect. It's like you're the bearer of good news here with this Page of Pentacles. For others to kind of see that reality within themselves, like, oh shoot, that's the way to it. And not that it's a prescriptive way, or one path. Certainly not. But that the way is the North Star, that North Node, which, by the way, I didn't say it, but that's the part of the grand air trine that's happening as well between the North Node, the South Node, and then some other element. I forget what I read. It was like some asteroid in I forget now, but I saw it and it was clear to me. But the grand trine, the grand air trine, has a great impact on more or less like how easily we're making these very important decisions, how we're discerning not just ourselves but our surroundings, because as I said, that makes all the difference, and even the impact that you get to make. And as it's already been established, that impact is pivotal. That means that in some cases, if you don't shine, someone else may not. Think about that. Wow, that just gave me chills. Like, if you don't pave the way, which again, Aquarius vibes, revolutionary, if you don't forge the way, if you don't go the distance on your own accord, that could make all the matter of manifestation or not for someone else with this Page of Pentacles. Wow. No pressure. As I said, this is it. Don't get scared now. And practically put, it's like if you don't bring your dreams into fruition, the simplest and the grandest, which I'm just saying that for range, but there is really no simple dream. It all matters, right? And all gets to matter. You may be cutting someone else's realization of their hopes and life's fulfillment short. And it does, and that's the synergy. I love this right now because that's the synergy with Aquarius. As I said, it's like you gotta do you, and it's not constrained by the collective, like, well, I have to do me within this construct. It's quite the opposite. You have to do you despite it or in spite of it or regardless of the convention, so that the collective can do them, if that makes sense. So it's like, although with Aquarius, it's an interesting mindset, because with Aquarius, it's like you are concerned about humanity, but you're not confined by it. I just feel something different on that, especially with all this pentacle and celestial vibes. It's like, if we can get mystical for a minute, it's that extraterrestrial, extra special essence of you, that celestial essence of you. I posted a message a while back and the thumbnail was trans-celestial. It's like you're in human form, but with embodying celestial power. That's not status quo. Everybody may have that potential, or many may have that potential, but certainly everyone is not empowered or operating in the frequency to wholly possess it and expel it, to actually use it, and also for productive and prosperous purposes. Part of the trial and error of the last season or so let's say, decade or so, was to see what you would do in the event that you were introduced to just a fraction of your potential power. And not everybody did well with, those tests and trials, as I say here. Not everybody did well with that, of being the master of their manifestation force. Those who didn't is really here nor there for the purposes of this reading. This is speaking to those that have, and how much of a gateway, maybe even a portal, you may be, and why it's important to really express that celestial uniqueness, which in the practical sense is how Aquarius expresses their difference or indifference to conformity. It's like it may not be the status quo to be able to operate in a certain activation of celestial creativity, i.e. being able to just do some shit that has never been seen before, never been done before, never even been imagined by you as a potential to be able to be done. It may be quite astounding of yourself even, let alone from the outside looking in. But if you don't be you, do you, it may not allow others the confidence or the freedom to operate in that liberty. And what we need, as I said, there can never be too many stars in the sky or in the realm, because we need everybody, as many as possible, that will be awakened to their ascended abilities, to be confident in that activation. For what? Maybe for opposition purposes, for protection against opposition, or offense against opposition, whatever that even may be, maybe not, but certainly for the purposes of ascending the collective consciousness beyond this lower vibration of limitation that we've all been hampered and dampered by. We don't have to live there anymore. As strange and as freaky as our true nature may be, we do not have to be confined to those identities anymore just because it's not so-called natural or normal, whatever that means, to be so. Here we go, exactly. So this is like moving beyond the investment of what normal even is, like the normal life, what's not even satisfying anymore to commit to. But we do it anyway because it's what's expected. These are cups for a reason, because this is speaking to the spiritual nature of your organism that's been restricted or limited in a sense to it can only be this or that, or this much of this or that, or else you veer into that line of obscurity where, you become either a target or you become a spectacle or an outcast or whatever. We off that. We don't live on that no more. Looky here. Does she look like she cares about not fitting into society at the Nine of Pentacles? No, she doesn't. And she has reason not to, and also motivation to continue to cultivate her own pure identity with the Nine of Pentacles. This starts with a spiritual investment and cultivation before it materializes in that card. The Eight of Cups subsequently is someone that is looking to move on to the Nine of Cups, which would be, in my opinion, like the masculine counterpart of this card here, spiritual satisfaction. From dissatisfaction, leaving things behind of which you may have invested a lot of your time and energy and a lot of the true, a lot of the best essence of you into, but realizing that that's not going to change the nature of its satisfactory response or reciprocation, that there's more to be desired. There's more of you that gets to be expressed. I could even liken this to, finding your way to a tribe, say toward the 10 of Cups, which I spoke about in the message, to your soul tribe, where you can let your freak flag fly without judgment. Unfortunately, for many of us, you don't find that liberty in the spaces and places that have grown used to you and you've grown used to them, or where you've been hiding aspects of yourself for your own protection. So the leap of faith with the Eight of Cups is knowing that there's a place for you. There's a place for what you do. There's an audience for what you do. There's a market for what you offer. There's a customer for your product. There is an audience that gets you. There is an organization that will embrace you. There's a partner that will love you. All of these things activate the faith to pursue, or at least to receive, because sometimes the reception, we know more how to pursue than we actually do to attract and receive as it presents itself. So a lot of the full moon energy that we were in was about the releasing, and still is. It's a continuous process, always. Those are the checks and balances of creation, the releasing and the receiving. But to be releasing the things that are not in that alignment, these Eight of Cups scenarios that don't nurture your divine identity, where you don't feel secure to express yourself, whether that be verbally, emotionally, energetically, physically, mentally, spirit, any way, shape, or form. If there's any place that's not receptive of the whole of you, that's a cause for consideration as to your placement within it or your connection to it easily. And that takes a great deal of courage. And here's the transformation to be able to put those things to rest as you allow yourself the liberty to be fully transformed into this celestial being of sorts. The Magician card right overhead, pointing down to that transformation. And the Justice card is saying that it's all fair game. Like this is the ordinance of creation. This is supposed to happen. And as I said, not only is it supposed to happen on account of what's already been set in motion, but it's setting something else, like a bigger picture. As I said at the end of the moon message, it's like what you're setting in place is for another couple decades. So really consider if what you're doing even now today, what you're submitting yourself to, more so energetically than anything, is what you could commit to for the next 20 years. Is it your happy place? Are you in your happy place? Hence the Eight of Cups. Is there somewhere else you need to go to cultivate that space? Is there someone else? Is there something or someone that needs to go to create that space? Are the people that you're engaging with those that you would want to share that space with you now and potentially for what many of us is a long run situation? Consider 20 years from now, I'll be way over the hill by earth years. you know So I'm very thoughtful about who, what, where. Yeah, look at this. And here's the forward movement. There's the onward, here's the forward. These distinctions have been coming up quite clearly lately too, which I really need to kind of meditate on. But here is that, like, you're transforming for the purposes of a continuous forward march, onward, moving forward in life, like continued success. This is long-term longevity and establishing the will, the mindset to maintain and magnify that momentum. That's no light work here. It's not light. And it's, to me, it's feeling like, again, with this ripple effect or cause and effect that's happening, it's like your transformation is triggering transcendence for the planet. Like we're space holders to some degree for the next generations to feel comfortable to expand in and then beyond. Right now feels a bit tight and constricted in some ways. It definitely has up until now. But it's like we're making room, breaking down walls, barriers, busting ceilings, literally busting myths about the limitations of manifestation, so that perhaps, especially for those of us that are raising the next generation, so that we don't impose those limitations onto the next. That makes a lot of sense, especially with the Page of Pentacles. That makes great practical sense. So that we shave that learning curve for them, so that they don't have to learn themselves the way that we had to learn and relearn ourselves as adults. They can operate in the full function of their star power, and they already are. But it's important, as we are the guides of, of that experience by default, because we're the adult humans, that we're just as equipped to support their experience in a holistic form, not strictly through the lens, the jaded lens that we were privy to. But that's the importance of expanding our perspective, even expanding our own life experience so that we can have the evidence for ourselves of what is possible when dot dot dot, and be the examples, of course, but then also somehow lend light to the pathway of those that are going to take it far beyond what we could have even imagined. We have to be able to give them the space to do that, and also the tools as much as we can lend to, but certainly the space, the security, the stability, the support to do that in a way that we may not even truly have the wisdom to foresee. Because we're all going forward nonetheless. Yeah, and here it is with the three of wands. It's like expanding that horizon, having great expectations for the future, which in a practical sense certainly requires, and I definitely use that word intentionally, us to speak prosperity over the future, over the generations, over the prospects, over the potential, not to speak doom and gloom or even have the expectation of such, not just for our immediate future or manifestation, but for all the purposes that I just spoke of futuristically. Even if we can't see exactly what or how or when or where or even why, to just keep our mind field open to a vast potential of prosperity. Almost like I see it as like opening the landscape like a blank canvas for the artists that are coming behind us to make those brushstrokes. Not drawing our own stick figures that they kind of got to get around, but making it clear and fresh and pure with our best capability, because it's hard to do that. You know, it's hard to see promise at all in what we're experiencing right now. But that's the point of the opposition, right? To skew our perspective and perception so that we create from that distorted view. But for those of us that are up for the challenge and have the capability, the will, the strength, and the power, yeah, I feel something on this. It's like we're opening up the horizons to an unlimited landscape. I wish I could say that how I actually feel it. Here's the Hangman, which is a matter of enlightenment. And behind it, which almost peeked out, but I'm not receiving that, is the Nine of Wands, because that's the wounded warrior's mentality. The very opposite of what I'm speaking of here, where it's like, life is happening to you, we're all going to hell in a handbasket, earth ain't shit, humans are horrible, you know, it's like that type of energy. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need the insistence on an enlightened perspective no matter what, the ambition for it. for someone that is willing to even take a pause for the cause until they can see things with a more illuminated perspective for themselves, and realizing that just that alone makes, like I said, the ripple effect, that alone makes a major impact on the collective consciousness. Just what how you see life is it's contributing to the color of this landscape here. And I feel like that's the thing, like we don't realize that that's the God role that we truly play in creation in this realm, is by way of our own perspectives. We're always looking beyond ourselves and above and to others and outside and even beneath, but ultimately it's internal. It's the internal force, the force that is within us, that is driving the reality that we are all consumed by. Just as much as the individual as the collective, we are God collectively. So as you're over there creating, and I'm over here creating, we're all manifesting the reality that is collective. I'm gonna leave it here. Because I feel something more too also about, this is like some intel, which is the other ways that we get to purify our channels, because the intel of the past is looking to connect with us, to shave our learning curves, to maybe help us unlearn some of the things that we have learned, to make this process of enlightenment and activation a bit more seamless, if that makes sense. So that even with the great charge that we feel we have, it can be even lighter, and so therefore that much greater of an accomplishment and of efficiency if we're clear to hear what the past, which is all kind of spiraling into one present ultimately, right, is telling us for the future. I feel something on that, but certainly I don't have time to go there. But even still, with all of those elements in regard, there's no time like the present. And your presence is a present to humanity. So in this transit, yet again, don't take your dreams, your wishes, your heart's desires for granted. None of them. Be serious about the manifestation of your happy place. That whatever corner of this globe gets to be that, it's okay to have the expectation, with the great expectations, with the Three of Wands, for that to be even more expansive than what you occupy in the physical form. It feels like a divine inheritance of sorts, and certainly we can't put a cap on that. Now, can we? It's infinite and it's eternal. As above, so below. As within, so without. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Happy new moon to you. I hope it's a powerful one, and that you ride the wave in peace and passion and prosperity, protection and power, for sure. And I look forward to talking with you again. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.